Hello everyone. I want to do a video talking about the importance of speaking to someone who fully understands the OCD suffering. Because this isn't to downplay, this isn't to say that people aren't intentionally well-meaning when they try to help you, but OCD is very, very misunderstood. It's still very much in the dark. It's come a very, very long way. Of course it has, but it's still very much in the dark. Now, what I mean by that, unless you've experienced the nuances, the intricacies, the complexities of the disorder, it's very hard to relate to how it feels. Unless you've been there yourself, unless you've been to a complete rock bottom, depressed, suicidal, in a mental hospital, where your whole life is consumed and controlled by OCD compulsions, by intrusive thoughts, unless you've experienced that, because you can read a book on OCD. You know, I could read a book on OCD and go, yeah, that sounds pretty tough. Yeah, I can imagine what it's like having thoughts at unwanted times. Yeah, I can imagine what the panic, what the anxiety, what the guilt feels like. Yes, that sounds tough. But unless you've really, really been there yourself, it's hard to understand the depths of it. And all of us on the team have been there. We've all been to that edge and back, to that hell-like place with OCD, where it felt like there was a point of no return. At my worst days, I just couldn't see any hope at all. Even if I was reading stories on forums and lots of reassurance pages and reassurance groups, yes, I could see how maybe someone was feeling better, but there was no sign of anyone getting better. There was no sign of that long-term recovery, which is what we teach here, which is what we strive for here, that robust long-term recovery. Not just dealing with OCD, yes, that's huge, but also any part of life. Having the principles, having the tools, having the internal framework, having the mindset, having the attitude to overcome. I never complain, I never vent, I never whine. It's all a waste of time, zero return investment. I get frustrated, I get annoyed. Things piss me off. The other day, my car broke down. That was annoying. But yes, I get pissed off because I've got places to be, but also where was screaming and shouting because my car broke down? Where was that going to get me? That was going to get me nowhere. So instead, okay, I don't like this, but how do I fix the problem? How do I overcome the problem? It's like, imagine when it's raining, as it is all the time here in England. Imagine going up, shouting at the sky, saying, why is it raining today? Why does it have to rain? Why can't it rain tomorrow? Because you're trying to control something completely out of your control. The point being, is that shouting and getting really angry in your current situation or playing the victim, it's a zero return investment, because it is what it is currently right now. This is the hand you've been dealt, okay? If I started complaining about how OCD is, I could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours about how difficult OCD is. I have complete compassion. I've been there myself. But the reason I don't just talk negative about OCD is because it doesn't actually get anyone better. Yes, it's important for the relatability. Yes, it's important to understand that the person you're talking to has been there themselves. But we don't need reminding how bad OCD is. We've all been there. So complete compassion, but also tough love, and changing the mindset of, okay, how do I overcome this? Let's stop playing the victim. We know it's bad. We know it's difficult, of course. But how do I overcome? How do I overcome? How do I get over this? How do I recover from OCD? Look at the things that's holding you back. Okay, how do I change that? How do I change that perspective? How do I change that belief? How do I change that behavior? That compulsion is not helping me. That avoidance isn't helping me. So getting into that mindset, that robust mindset of whatever OCD chucks at you, okay, how do I overcome that? And that just becomes a way of thinking. It becomes a natural response to things, because I don't see the point of venting. I don't see the point of complaining anymore, because it is zero return. I've never got anywhere from venting. It's just a complete waste of time. When you think about it, if something goes wrong in your life, where is blaming someone? Let's say, I don't know, I burnt the dinner. Okay, let's say I burnt the dinner. Now, rather than screaming and shouting the house down, yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's annoying. But screaming and shutting the house down isn't going to bring my dinner back, is it? When my car broke down, screaming and shouting at the mechanic isn't going to fix my car. I can only just try and get it fixed. This is why I talk about taking it one day at a time, Let's focus on the problem and let's look to overcome. Of course you have long-term goals. Of course you have long-term plans. Yes, they're very helpful. But if you're just, because it all gets on top of you, you just think, oh my God, I can't deal with it all. Oh my God, I've got OCD as well. I've got all the life problems. Then it all can just get on top of you. This is why I teach you to get into this mindset of one step at a time, one day at a time. Let's overcome this, and let's deal with this. Let's overcome this. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, okay? Because otherwise, it can like looking up at Mount Everest and going, how the hell do I climb that? And that's how it can feel. That's how I felt at my worst. I remember when I was first reading the books, reading the first book on the reading list, How to Stubbornly Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable. I was thinking, right, I get the logic, but how on earth can this help with me? Because when you're so consumed in your own mind, we've all been there. I'm sure you're watching this, you can understand. I'm sure you're going, yeah, I've been there. When it's not just consumed in your own mind, it's things can be going on around you. There could be external events happening, but you're so caught up. I was caught up in things 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a week ago, a day ago, just replaying it. 5 minutes ago, just replaying it over and over again. So someone could be telling me, saying, Sam, you're a great bloke. I love you, Sam. Here's £1 million. Do you want it? And I'd be going, yeah. Just sort of, I'd be looking at them, but the vacant stare with that vacant look where you're sort of looking through them because you're so caught up in the mind. Now that's hard to explain to someone who doesn't have OCD, because they're like, well, just click back into it, go like that and you're focused again. You could just, go on, do that, just sort of snap out of it. Slap your face and snap out of it. Well, yeah, imagine it was that simple. It really is. It's not to say you can't get to that stage. Now I don't ruminate at all because there's no fears at play. The unconditional acceptance is now a natural way of thinking. So nothing in the past that OCD can latch to can disrupt my inner peace today. But you're talking to someone, I'm someone who lived their life in the past. OCD scanning. From the minute I woke up in the morning, boom, I had 5 seconds, 10 seconds of peace if I was lucky. And then boom, have some of that. It would latch to something. Maybe it remembered what I was triggered about the previous day. Maybe it remembered something 15 years ago. Maybe it remembered this thought that you had at an unwanted time. Maybe it remembered this new theme that's now latched. Oh, fuck, how do I deal with this new theme? I had that a lot, thinking, oh my God, I've got to wake up and deal with this new theme. It's going to be worse than the last one. I had that a lot. Okay, so yeah, and now anything, I could talk about anything. I'm around OCD every day. I absolutely love it. It's a huge passion of mine. It's my job. I love it. So it's nothing that you're going to say that's going to be like, oh my God, how do I deal with that? Because it's this. When you look at the core fears behind it, when you look at the beliefs, what's fueling the cycle, because people say, yeah, but Sam, I bet you haven't heard that thought before. Well, you could tell me a million different thoughts. That's fine. But I'd say, well, what's the belief? What's the fear? And the fears do tend to be very similar. But even if it's a fear you've never heard of before, which is very rare, but even if that's the case, it's okay, let's break that down. The point being is that there is no treatment-resistant case. There is no exception. There is no case where, no, yours is different, you're going to be stuck forever. There are challenging cases. There are cases where recovery is more difficult. That will trigger a lot of people, but there are cases. For example, if you live in a country that's maybe very poor, or where it's difficult to get help, or maybe it's difficult to get a job. Maybe it's just a very sort of, I don't know, if you live in a very crowded house, and I don't know what I'm saying, but I don't know what I'm saying there. But if you live in a place where, let's say, I'm not talking about the slums or homeless, obviously that would be incredibly difficult. We do speak to people that are there, but if you live maybe where OCD is very misunderstood, where maybe your family is quite unsupportive, and you haven't got a job, you're living in a house where no one understands OCD, that can be difficult. I can fully understand that can be difficult, but that does not mean that OCD recovery is impossible to you. It does not mean that you're going to be stuck forever, even though we have to try and make peace with that and go towards the worst case scenario. Okay? So no matter what you tell us, it's okay, what's the fear? How do we deal with it? Okay? What's your behaviours like? What's your life structure like? Are you avoiding this? Are you avoiding that? Okay, what compulsions are you doing? What are you doing for relief? How are you trying to get rid of this feeling? Are you saying things like, yeah, but this thought's unbearable. Yeah, but if this was true, I'd be a bad person. Yeah, but if this happened, I just could never live with myself and I'd have to kill myself. I couldn't live with the chronic guilt. Well, where is that kind of thinking getting you? Well, it's obviously getting you nowhere, because you wouldn't be watching this video today. If reassurance helped, you would not be tuning into this video today. If confession helped, I was a serial confessor. If that helped, then you would not be here watching this video. You would not be scrolling through forums. You would not be Googling every OCD symptom there is under the sun, because you would have confessed, you would have got your reassurance, you'd have Googled that one last time, and then you'd have been sorted. Off on your merry way that you go. You'd sail into the golden sunset, living life. Yeah, I'm free now. But no, OCD is always looking for that next thing. It's that one step ahead. It's always looking for that thing that you currently cannot accept. When you start viewing it like that, you become one step ahead of OCD, because hence why unconditional acceptance is the missing piece. It's not spoken about a lot. We speak about a lot on this channel because we've all been there. We understand what a crucial part unconditional acceptance plays, but it's going after the thing that you currently see as, oh no, that's a step too far. Oh no, don't latch to that theme, that's a step too far. Or I can accept that, but not this. Oh no, OCD, don't latch to that. Well, waving a red flag to a bull is going to go after that, full guns blazing. That's what it does. Hence why the word unconditional acceptance, unconditional, no matter what, no conditions attached, even if that was true, even if that was the case, even if I did this thing in the past, even if I had this thought, even if I wanted this thought, even if I deliberately, intentionally thought of this thought, even if. That is the missing component for OCD suffering, for OCD recovery. Now, exposures are good. They get me a long way. They got me a long way. They get many people a long way. But they are not the be all and end all. They're not everything. Because if you just do exposure after exposure after exposure, but you're still absolutely terrified of the fear, if you're still conditionally accepting yourself, saying, well, I can only accept myself only when, rather than even if, then obviously OCD is going to still latch that. It's going to still have that power, that gripping power that it currently has. Okay? The reason OCD does not scan in the past for me is because even if that was the case, even if it found something where I may have acted immorally, where I may have acted wrongly, where I may have acted badly, it does not affect the inner peace because I unconditionally accept myself even if I have done that. Okay, I can look back and regret something, of course. Healthy regret, healthy sorrow, healthy frustration, healthy disappointment. That's great because that's how you change behaviour. That's how you learn from mistakes and aim not to do that again. Great. That's healthy. Okay, thumbs up, that's healthy. Whereas unhealthy is the chronic guilt, the depression, the anxiety, the chronic shame. Okay, that is when you say, but if I've done this thing in the past, I am no good. I am never, ever can do good again. I'm evil. I'm bad. How can I live like this? How can I be a total and utter rotten scumbag if I've done this in the past? How could I look at that person ever again? How could I live my life ever again? If only they knew this. If only they knew that. How could I even aim for that career goal if they knew this? How could I buy that fancy car if I'd done that in the past? How could I live my life? How could I exercise? How could I aim for any goal if I've done that thing in the past? Well, that is conditional acceptance because you're saying I can only do this if I've done that. Okay? You're saying you're only capable or you can only achieve your goals if you haven't acted wrongly. Well, that is conditional because you're human, you're imperfect, you're fallible, and you will mess up. You will make mistakes. Okay? I don't see mistakes as bad. Yes, the consequence can be very unfavourable, of course. An undesirable outcome, of course. That's how you would define it as a mistake. But when you get into a mindset of, what can I learn from this mistake? What can I learn from this weakness? What positive outcome can I get out of the worst case scenario? What can I learn from this bad thing? That is life-changing stuff because then you become fearless, but also you're not just being reckless and careless where you don't care if you make a mistake. No, I don't want to make mistakes. Of course not, but I accept I'm a human, I'm fallible, I'm going to make mistakes, right? That's how you get better. That's how you improve. That's how you reflect and learn and adjust and adapt, okay? Mistakes, weaknesses, messing up, fucking up, doing things wrong, learning, saying, okay, I could have done that better. That's how things change. That's how humans evolve. If you look at the evolution of humans, that's how we've evolved. Messing up, slipping up, going back and forth. Okay, we could have done that better. And over time, humans have evolved. Okay, that's very, very important to remember. I've covered a lot in this video, not this call. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to keep like 15 minutes. I don't know what the total is going to be because I've covered so much, but we'll leave it there. If you have liked this video, please leave a like. If you're interested in our one-to-one services, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com for that customized one-to-one approach to get us to look at your fears together, look at your rational beliefs, see where you're going wrong, what kind of compulsions you're doing, which isn't helping at all, and overcoming that, setting some recovery plan to overcome that. Really focusing on what isn't working, what's going to work, and then you can work on that. Because yes, you can try recovery by yourself, but the guidance is very important. Just another insight, another pair of eyes, just another way of looking at things, another perspective. That is important, okay? Recovery by yourself would be incredibly difficult, but I'd always recommend reaching out and we can set you that plan to help you overcome OCD. Anyway, we'll speak again. Bye-bye.